Hey there, this is Peter. Welcome to another Take a Break with Valley CAD. So in today's video, what we're going to be working through is making a drawing with a multi-body part design. Yeah, this is used a lot when we are working with weldments, sheet metal, but also with standard multi-body design approaches while we're working in a part file. So get your favorite cup of coffee or tea ready as we hop into SOLIDWORKS and we learn something new about drawings. Yeah, it could be a little bit dry, but don't worry, you might get a really awesome nugget out of this. So I'll see you in SOLIDWORKS in just a click. Hey there, welcome to SOLIDWORKS. So many of you that know me or you've gone through some of our training classes or you've seen some of our other videos, right? You know that some of my favorite features in SOLIDWORKS is the weldment features. And also I really enjoy working with sheet metal features as well. That's because as I was getting familiar with SOLIDWORKS, working in the Central Valley, a lot of the equipment that I would design or work with in SOLIDWORKS was ag equipment, and so that was conveyor lines, packing lines, and so forth. So I really got familiar with weldments really fast. So in this scenario, we are working with a multi-body design, and so whenever you work with weldments or sheet metal, you are working in a multi-body design environment. Okay, you can also create a multi-body design environment by making boss base extrude, and as long as you have two separate bodies that don't connect to each other, you're going to be in a multi-body design environment. Or if they do connect and you uncheck that merge results, you are in a multi-body design environment as well. If you want to learn more about that, we do offer a 3-day training course called Advanced Part Modeling that talks more about multi-body design and why it's a useful tool or approach of designing in SOLIDWORKS. So with our weldment structure here, you'll see that I came in and I made some detailed information. Like I have some gussets here, and also I have two cross members here that have some holes on them, and they're different style of holes. Like this one has 3 on it, this one only has 2, and they're not spaced properly. And also I have some bottom cross members or bracings that are coming off at an awkward angle. And I use that term awkward angle because we don't really know what it is, right? Just looking at it. It's not a standard 45-degree angle like what we see with a standard miter cut there. All right, so I'm going to come into a pre-existing drawing that I started. So coming in and making a drawing from a weldment structure, it's pretty straightforward. It's just like working with any other part file. You're just saying, hey, make a drawing. That drawing needs to reference this part. These are the views that I want. So normally when you're making a weldment structure drawing, you're going to come in with a parent sheet, and that sheet's going to have like a cut list on it. It's also going to come in and you put in your overall dimensions of the structure, and you might also come in with like weldment callouts and so forth. Well, doing that is great, like you should be doing that, but as we come in and you say, oh, I need to show some detail on this gusset, or may I need to show detail on these set of holes. You know, you come up to your view layout, or if you're on SOLIDWORKS 2021, you have the drawing tab there, and you say detail view, and I could simply come in and say, all right, let's grab from there, and we'll drop that over, and we'll put this up over here, and like so that we can start calling out information on it. Well, the more views that we create on this sheet and the more notes, like dimensions, actual notes, a cut list table and everything, this can get congested really, really, really fast. And also can get confusing, like, oh man, I see too many black lines. I don't know what the heck I'm looking at here. So this is where we're gonna learn the function of the import selected bodies into a view. So this is a 11 by 17 sheet. This is what we call an ANSI B size sheet. I'm going to switch over to another sheet that's inside of the same drawing file. Yes, you can actually have more than one sheet per drawing file, and on top of that, you can have different size sheets. So this is actually our ANSI A size sheet, so it's a 8.5 by 11. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop in those detailed views, but of just the given body by itself. So there's actually 3 ways that we could go about this. The first one is come up to our drawings tab and selecting model view. From here, you'll notice under model view, this is just a standard import a component into your SOLIDWORKS drawing file. I do recommend that when you are making a drawing file, try to make that drawing file only reference one given part file or one given assembly. Try not to mix and match all into one massive drawing, it could get pretty convoluted pretty fast there. So anyways, I have my multi-body drawing part example 1 in there because that's the only file that I have currently open. From here, you'll notice that under my properties, I am able to select which type of view I want, but here is the cool part. You'll notice that I have a new selection here called Select Bodies. This is the button of this whole video. Simply click on that, and now what you can actually do is say, oh, I need to show the detailed information on that one given body. And you can actually come in and click on as many bodies as you want. So in this scenario, I'm just gonna grab that one cross member, the top cross member. I'm gonna drop, before I drop it, I'm gonna scroll down, and I'm also gonna make it so that this is set up to a sheet scale. Now I'll drop it. So you'll notice here that SOLIDWORKS is automatically adding other views for me. I'm just gonna push escape once to get out of dropping view mode. I'm gonna zoom in, right? Because I have to zoom in really far. But what I'm gonna do is actually right click on the view. And how you know you're clicking on the view is that you see an orange like dotted square around it or rectangle. You simply right click inside of that view and you can say, hey, I wanna zoom, pan, or rotate this thing. So I'm gonna say rotate view, and you could come up here and type in 90 and then say apply and then close. You can also manually click on it and rotate around if you see fit. So the other thing that we're gonna do, being on SOLIDWORKS 2021, if you notice right below me, yes, there's a little traffic light there, but right next to it, it says 1 to 24. This is actually my sheet scale currently. What's really cool is I could click on this. I know my head's blocking it, but there's a flyout that comes up. And it has a series of different scale factors that you could choose from. So in this scenario, I'm gonna come up to that 1 to 8 scale and make it so that my entire sheet is set up that way. So that way, this drawing view is gonna be set to 1 to 8. Now with this set up here, I can actually come in and add whatever dimensions, notations that I see fit. You can also come in and say, hey, annotation, drop in a note, and I wanna drop this here, and you could call it whatever you want. You could also come into file property and say, hey, I want you to link to a cut list variable or property. It could all be done like so for you. Pretty awesome, huh? So that is one way to importing a view with selected bodies. If you don't know this, you can actually click on the existing view. Here's the second way to do it, by the way. Select a view, do a Control-C, then click on your sheet again, just anywhere on your sheet, and then do a Control-V, as in Victor. And then from there, you actually just copy that first view. And you could click on it, and then from there, come up to Selected Bodies. And then from there, you can say, hey, you know what? I don't want that one, I want this one now. And from there, say okay to that. And there's your other view. And so this is allowing you to drop in more than one body or set of views onto a given sheet. And so when I like to come in and make details of certain cross members or bodies, this is actually the approach that I do. I come in here and I say, okay, here's my overall dimensions and the overall structure that I've created. And I don't do detail views very often here. And I'll say, hey, reference sheet 1 of 2 or 2 of 2 to see the information of those given bodies and so forth. Okay, and then the third way that you could come in and do a selected bodies approach is coming over to your task pane. That's what these set of icons are, and you'll see your view palette there. Honestly, when I make drawings, I'm always going over to my task pane and clicking on view palette, and then from there dragging in my views that I see fit. So you'll see here that, oh shoot, I don't see anything. I have to come up here and click on refresh. Then from there, I can see my views again. I'm gonna say I want my top view here. Simply click and drag it over and drop it. From there, I'm gonna push escape once to get out of create view mode. And so from there, if I click on this view that I dropped in, I can come up to select bodies. And in this scenario, I'm gonna choose one of those gussets and say okay. And so maybe I need this gusset to be a little bit larger. So I'm gonna click on the view, come down here and say use a custom scale. And then from there I can say, hey, I need you to be a 1 to 4 size. So that'll resize it for me. Notice how it shifted it off to my sheet. Technically, SOLIDWORKS is importing all the geometry onto that view. But because I said select bodies, SOLIDWORKS will only show that one given body. So think of it kind of like a display state. It hide and show given bodies. okay? So that is how you could come in and create a multi-body view, and by selecting on a given body to import in. And so you can also select, as I mentioned earlier, you could come in and pick multiple bodies. So maybe I want to show a sheet where it's only all the top structure items. Then I want to create another sheet that shows all the bottom structure items. So that's a really cool setup to be able to come in and do that. So I just came in and I showed you guys that really unique button in drawings. If you do a multi-body design at select bodies, super powerful. So anyways, hopefully you're enjoying these take a break videos. If you are, click that thumbs up button and also click that subscribe button. Awesome. So I hope you enjoyed this and you got your cup of coffee done. Have a great rest of the day and make sure you learn something new.